The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown. End zone, Jake Ferguson. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a chillaxed edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. Welcome in, everybody. We've got Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez,
Hi.
Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. So glad you're with us. This is the first show that we've had in quite some time, and it feels like that because so much has happened over the last week. We've met our defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Yeah. We've heard from the front office.
Yes.
We've heard from Brian Schottenheimer. And we've signed a running back. We'll talk about all of that.
Indeed.
Lots.
I think there's no better way to start this show than by go ahead and proclaiming, right, that we believe in Javonte. Javonte Williams is back. We're going to talk about it as we go along on the show. You guys like this setup? The little.
I feel so mature.
Oh, yeah? Do you need like a cigar?
Very
No,
distinguished.
I do feel like I need a bourbon, you know.
Get like an old fashioned.
Yeah, that's an old fashioned.
Get a star on the ice cube as they
Not
as
even
you
on the rocks,
request.
just neat.
You know what I need? A Black Rifle coffee.
Shameless plug.
Just
do it.
for the listeners or for the viewers at home.
Do it.
There you go.
Do it.
Black Rifle Coffee. It is. I mean, it is a nice, relaxed feel, and it's a lot of football talk this offseason. Probably feels relaxed to fans at home when it's not in the building. That's what this last week has felt like. It feels like there's a lot going on as time has passed, and I mean, we're starting to see what the complete picture of this football team is going to be as we get into the combine this week. Patrik and I will be on the first flight out tomorrow.
Did you guys give me a ticket as well?
If you want to come along, come along.
All right.
Yeah.
Just pack me in the luggage.
What are you waiting on?
You guys. What time's the flight? I'll see you there.
That's a fair answer.
Yeah. It's like 7 o'clock, I think.
Stowaway.
7 a.m.?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like an early flight.
Early flight, get there.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Let's have a whole day.
7.
Yeah. Something like that.
Come on.
Easy stuff. Let's get into some news and notes,
Absolutely.
Patrik.
That's like you said. Let's lead with the headliner, which is Javonte Williams is going nowhere. He has re-signed on a 3-year deal worth a maximum of $24 million. $16 million of that is guaranteed. Obviously, that's an $8 million average annual salary. That is more than solid for both sides. That's a good deal for Javonte. That's a good deal for the Cowboys. And once again, much like a year ago when Javonte Williams was the first player from outside of the building signing free agency, he becomes the first deal to jump off the Cowboys free agency this time around. So not only do we believe in Javonte, the Cowboys do as well, and you got to love that. I could not be happier for Javonte Williams. Now, a couple seasons or so removed from that devastating injury, he signed a prove-it deal last year, and he went out and did exactly that. He proved it. He showed that he can do it. He can do the dirty work. He can run between the A and the B gaps. He's the best pass protector you have in the running backs room. He can help mentor some of the younger guys, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa. And on top of that, he proved himself durable as well, which was key. Because when you had a situation with Miles Sanders, who was brought in to compete with Javonte and probably be a tandem with him in kind of like a running back by committee scenario, Miles Sanders goes down early, never comes back again for the remainder of the season. Questions are who's going to step up. Shouts out to Malik Davis for being able to do so. But it was Javonte turning into the bell cow, and that's not the conversation that we were having.
Absolutely.
In Oxnard and training camp. So shouts out to Javonte. Well-earned 3 years. He's in the building. Let's go.
And I don't think it was a matter of like we didn't think he was possible of doing that, but I think for a large portion of training camp, we were like, oh, he's not going to be the bell cow. I mean, he's going to split it up, of course.
And even
we got to see what we're getting with Jaden Blue.
I feel like bell cow was like the definition of it for Javonte Williams was like, oh, he's going to be the starter.
You're right.
And he's going to see half the snaps. Not the majority of the snaps and carry the running back and running game on his back all game or all season long.
No, that was not what we were thinking going into the season. Obviously, the Cowboys had that in their mind pretty early on. Yep. Probably when they signed Javonte, they were like, this guy can do it all for us. And like we talked about, 80% of the snaps. Yeah. They felt that way, which is why we never got a great look at him at training camp.
Yeah.
They would always kind of like push him off to the side after a few reps and be like, no, we're good.
You say a little bit of bubble wrap was involved there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I remember several practices where I'm like, that was 2 or 3 great runs, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And part, I think part of that was because they wanted to shelve him a little bit. What are you going to see in practice versus what are you going to see in the game anyways?
I'm just so surprised that they saw it as early as they did.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Without us even having an indication of what he might be doing.
You know what I
during
love
the season.
even more so about Javonte is, okay, so this is a young guy that, you know, a lot has been said about his durability going into last season.
Right.
He didn't play like he gave a damn about what anybody was saying about his durability. If there was someone coming up to tackle him, good luck with that person coming up to tackle him. I mean, he was an absolute bully. He was physical. He also showed some quickness. Obviously, there's more quickness in like a Jay and Blue, but It was surprising to see how much quickness and how much burst Javonte had. He is a complete back that does the dirty work exceedingly well. Would you like to see more from a home run capacity? Absolutely, but this is the same guy who surprised many in open space, being able to tear off some of those chunk runs as well. So I just think that not only is it well-deserved, but it gives the Cowboys some much-needed stability at the running back position, because obviously in the post-Zeke Tony Pollard tandem era, it became Tony Pollard. He had that good year, but then he went off. But even with the Tony Pollard era, it was like, who's RB2, right? Yeah. So after Zeke/Pollard, there was a ton of instability, and now Javonte Williams comes in and he provides you that for several years, which now allows you to focus on other things that need to be focused on.
Yeah, and the numbers are very favorable for Dallas. I mean, you look at what he did this year.
Totally,
and
agreeable.
He was the 9th most productive rusher in football.
Is that good?
Great. I mean,
seems good.
Top 10 seems pretty good.
1,200 yards. He was a top 10 running back in football this past year. He is not a top 10 contract at the running back position this year, which is huge. Or over the course of the contract, actually, the average per year, $8 million a year, is something, and I know it's going to be split up differently as we get more details on the contract, but let's say it is the $8 million over 3 years. These are guys, I'm going to start naming guys that are paid higher than Javonte Williams. Okay. And might I remind you, this is before we get into free agency and new deals that are going to go wherever the running back position is going to go.
Yep. You're saying the Cowboys set the market?
Not set the market, but they
got ahead of it early.
Got ahead of the market.
Proactive.
Proactive.
They were ahead of it.
Is that what we're doing now?
Where are we?
But you've got, I mean, these are guys that are paid above them.
Yes, please.
Chuba Hubbard, Ashton Genty, Ramondre Stevenson, David Montgomery, James Conner,
Genty is a rookie.
Aaron Jones. I know, yeah, that's a different story. James Cook, who had a phenomenal year. Josh Jacobs. I mean, these are good running backs.
Yeah.
But they're all paid higher than Javonte Williams. I mean, you look at the guys under Javonte Williams, and it's not the same level of list. I mean, Tony Pollard's there. Not anything against Tony Pollard, but Jalen Warren, Devin Singletary, Najee Harris, Jordan Mason, Jahmyr Gibbs, who he's on a rookie deal. And a lot of these guys are rookie deals, honestly. Marion Hampton and Bijan Robinson still on his rookie deal. Travis Etienne. The point of this being, you get him at a steal of a price. And it honestly, I don't know if I want to call it a discount because he's getting paid more. Yeah. But it feels like it's a respect factor between the two parties of Javonte took a chance on himself, but Dallas took a chance on Javonte at the same time, and it paid off for both parties. Let's be happy for both parties, and that's how they're moving forward.
Great point, Kyle. I'll add to that. I think it would also play largely into Javonte's decision to stick around in Dallas is the fact that this offense has the weapons around him to allow him to be able to continue to be productive. If you're a running back, obviously that's arguably the most brutal position to play in the NFL.
One of them, yeah.
Right. So the shelf life on a running back in the NFL is not exceedingly long, but it can be lengthened if the team that player is on has receiving threats, has a franchise quarterback. Now, we'll talk about the needs for the offensive line when we get there. However, the core pieces, especially being that the Cowboys very much intend to keep George Pickens in the building, the core pieces are there for Javonte Williams and the coordinator, because though Brian Schottenheimer has some growing pains to learn from, he showed from the outset that he can get that job done and make it a prolific offense as far as scheming is concerned. So if I'm Javonte Williams, I'm looking at it as, okay, to Kyle's point, this is the team that gave me a shot at proving it. And in addition to that, he has a brotherhood with the locker room, gets along extremely well with the offense and the defense and the coaching staff. The defense is now being revamped in a way that, as we have this conversation, at least looks like it's about to take the right steps. If I'm Javonte Williams, not only do I get to potentially lengthen my NFL career by playing with weapons like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and George Pickens, but I also get to potentially be on a playoff team. Maybe if the defense gets itself together this year, maybe the C word, a contender. So it's just something that if I'm Javonte Williams,
Can't talk about.
I know, where's my sign? But if I'm Javonte Williams, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
When it comes to sticking around in Dallas.
Clearly, the contract says that he was thinking that.
Yeah.
He's in line with what the coach's philosophy right now, and one of those characters, at least for Brian Schottenheimer, that he loves, where it's a non-vocal leader that leads by example. Yep. He showed that all season long. He was healthy for the most part, for a large part of the season. Only missed that last game, I believe. But in all encompassing, he's the kind of running back that you want. And I'll stand by it. I feel like he's the most physical running back the Cowboys have had since DeMarco Murray. Granted, you take like maybe the first 2 years of Zeke into that equation.
I think Zeke is underrated in that category, but I could see the argument.
As far as physicality goes, granted,
Zeke was a bowling ball.
Absolutely, his first 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, I think the larger picture is that he kind of lessened in that degree later on. But I'm not to talk about Zeke. I just mean like it's just refreshing to see a running back of that caliber with that strength behind him that is genuinely like you didn't expect that going in. So I'm really happy with the signing.
There's nothing to dislike about this move.
No.
Nothing to dislike about it.
The question then becomes, first off, I want to back up what you just said. The coordinator conversation we've had on the defensive side of the ball, where it's like, oh, there's 4 coordinators in 4 years, and that's one conversation. I feel like an underrated conversation. It's been 4 primary ball carriers in 4 years, and now that's not the case. Now you know who your running back is going to be. It's not Ezekiel Elliott. It's not Tony Pollard. It's not Rico Dowdle like it was the 3 years prior to Javonte Williams. Now it's Javonte Williams moving into the future.
But
at least for the next 3 years.
This is to kind of tease our other segment as far as...
No, we're going to go into that.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, please.
Do you need to add more at the running back position? That was my question here, because Javonte, being what he was already taking a chance on himself. The Cowboys took a chance on him. Mm-hmm. Do you need to have something else to either build upon with him in the running back room, or is it something that you feel comfortable? Let's see where these other guys go that are currently under contract.
Oh, I thought that was the lead for segment 2.
Oh, no. So I want you to
jump right in there. I think that you... that's a question mark, and it's a fantastic question for a couple reasons. One, you would love to look at the running back depth chart right now as we have this conversation. And if you're just looking at it without the context of the struggles of Jayton Blue with consistent practices and Phil Maffa having missed the large majority, 16 regular season games because of the shoulder injury, got 1 carry in the finale, didn't really get to show you any data, any film there. But if you look at it from the capacity of who you have, you say Javonte Williams is locked in, you got a promising home run threat in Jayden Blue, and you got another physical downhill runner in Phil Maffa. You want to say that they can be done, but then when you start to sprinkle in the context of it, again, basically 1 or 2 reps for Phil Maffa all of last season, so let's call it a red shirt year. Jayden Blue didn't earn his way onto the field until the final game, but when he did, showed some magnificent stuff, but you need to see more growth there. Malik Davis is
maturity as well.
Well, Malik Davis is not yet re-signed to the roster, so he's not there.
Yeah.
Say the name for me. Practice squad.
Israel Abandakanda?
You got that. You got him on the roster. However, unproven, even less so than Jayden Blue and Phil Maffa. The only definitive guy you have is Javonte Williams, so you can't be done. You can't be done. Now, what does that mean? I don't know if that means you add someone else in free agency. Maybe it's a Malik Davis. It won't be anyone that competes with Javonte because Javonte is now
he's your guy.
RB1.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out RB2.
Yeah.
I think it can be figured out if Jayden Blue's maturity and work ethic sounds as if after the regular season finale, sounds as if it clicked, sounds as if he got it. But let's see. Because here comes, in a couple months or so, here comes OTAs, a mini camp, and then ultimately training camp and preseason. We'll see what year 2 Jayden Blue looks like, and we'll see what technically year 1 Phil Maffa looks like because we didn't get to see him last year.
Yeah. After the regular season finale, I feel like it's Jayden Blue's job to lose. He played excellent in that first half, and then you saw Phil Maffa in spurts, right? Yeah. But to me, the ability is there. The burst is there, which was be an excellent complement to what Javonte Williams provides to you. You need that burst. Do I think you need to add anything right now? Unless Jayden Blue doesn't pick up on that growth opportunity, if he does not mature between now and the start of preseason, like we need to see it in preseason as well, then yes, but it would be another situation where you're getting a Miles Sanders type player or Malik Davis. I would be totally fine with that, re-signing Malik Davis.
He's earned it.
Do you feel like Miles Sanders plays into this equation at all?
Probably not, because what you saw from Malik Davis. I think Malik Davis was more than serviceable. What's that?
I don't think Miles Sanders plays into it.
Probably not. But I just meant
about what you're saying.
Yeah,
Malik Davis. I mean, if you're going to get a veteran that you want to be able to plug into that RB2, because I was going to ask the question, and your question now answers the question I was going to pose to Josh, which is, at what point do you want to apply insurance? Because you're saying, and rightfully so, you need to see what Jayden Blue is going to be come preseason, come training camp. But you shouldn't wait to buy insurance for that situation,
right.
Any situation.
Please don't.
So when do you do it? And to you guys' point, I think you do it now, and I think you do it with Malik Davis.
Yeah,
I think that's how you do it. I don't think if it's Malik Davis or Miles Sanders, I'm going with Malik Davis.
Yeah,
Miles Sanders came in, he battled injury. He didn't look fantastic before he succumbed to injury. Malik Davis came in after being waived a total of 5 times and said enough is enough. Did some things in the preseason, did some great things in the regular season. Well, really good, I'm going to say great. Did some really good things in the regular season.
Sure.
Fantastic insurance policy for RB2. Bring him back. That is basically you looking Jayden Blue in the face and saying, love what you did in the regular season finale.
And I think in doing that, Malik Davis earned a lot of favor with the coaching staff and with the head coach. I mean, like he talked about him constantly, about his work ethic and the growth, the maturity growth that he had from last season to this season. So absolutely sign Malik Davis if you can right now as insurance for Javonte Williams. But like, still, I think the opportunity is right there with Jayden Blue if he's able to kind of have his head on right.
I agree, and I also think
not that he doesn't.
I think that the presence of a Malik Davis, because I do believe of those two, I'd go Malik Davis. The presence of a Malik Davis keeps that motivating factor present for Jayden Blue. I think the worst thing you can do right now is Jayden Blue works on consistently maturing in the role is to allow him to believe that it's his job to lose, even if it's his job to lose at RB2. I think you need to plunk that variable in front of him and say, we believe in you, but ...
So what you guys are saying that if, let's say, Javonte Williams has a unfortunate circumstance, you're okay with either Miles Sanders or specifically a Malik Davis to fill that role?
I would be fine.
Because let's say like Jayden Blue right now, he has too much to prove to be RB1.
Oh, yes.
So to be RB2,
agreed.
You have to have at least something there to prove that he's RB1. I don't look at this running back room and say, there's a guy there that if Williams goes down, I feel confident in.
I feel like if Williams goes down and Malik Davis is in the building, Malik has shown you enough that he can be an RB1 in spurts. And in that spurt, that stretch of time wherein Williams is down due to injury, knock on all the possible wood here, that the tandem of Malik Davis and Jayden Blue can get it done in that pocket of time is what I believe.
Yeah. In total agreement with that. But I think you need the maturity of a Malik Davis.
Also sprinkling in Phil Maffa as a good downhill runner.
I think all of those guys
are
going to. Yeah, I think all of those guys are going to get an opportunity to compete when we get to Oxnard. That all those guys are going to be there, and I bet you there's one more name in there too. It's either going to be a free agent signing, some veteran, or somebody that's on the open market, or you're going to see a late draft pick or another undrafted free agent, because this draft class of running backs is not as deep as it was. Yeah, it's not as deep as it was last year. And Dallas is not in a position, especially without a day 2 pick, to go and spin picks at running back. So I think it would be a UDFA, but it wouldn't shock me if they bring in somebody else to try and evaluate along the way.
They could carry 5 on a 90-man roster. You know, you get a UDFA because right now it's
on a 90-man.
On a 90-man roster.
Yeah.
You not counting Hunter Lipke. You got 3 right now. You got Javonte Williams, Jayden Blue, Phil Maffa. You get a UDFA. There's your 4th. You bring in
Sanders.
If you want to come back, circle a block back on Sanders, or get another low cost running back. I could see them having 5 at the start of mini camp, and then decide if they want to carry 5 into training camp, or maybe chop that down and say 4 plus Hunter Lipke. So, I mean, you can play the numbers game when you have 90 men on your roster.
As much as I love Javonte Williams, and I love what he did in 2025, and I love that he's coming back and the deal that he's on, all of those factors, you know what I say, and hope is not a strategy.
Not a strategy.
I just hope he stays healthy throughout another year of being a bell cow at the same level and the same significance that he was this past year, and be healthy enough to where the playoffs are still in your sight.
Fix his offensive line.
It sounds good to me. But even with that being said, things happen.
Absolutely.
Some of the most durable running backs in all of football get hurt. That's just part of it. So what are you going to do when that happens? And I don't know if I feel confident right now in the room below that. And this is something I've said since training camp in past years, not even just this year, but in past years, because I look at this room and I see a lot of hope and developmental guys and people that you feel like can take a step forward. Jayden Blue's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. He has the skill set, he has the burst, he has the speed, all of those elements, but can he actually take a maturity leap forward, and can he take an impact leap forward? Physicality from a pass protection standpoint, all of those things. I want to see more from the rest of that group. Getting Javonte back is huge.
Massive.
Huge. Because then it's the rest of the guys that you have to worry about instead of your RB1. And so I'm happy with everything to this point. All right. This is also the first show that we've had since we learned about Christian Parker. We learned what he wants to do on the defensive side of the ball. Is the 3-4 switch in scheme a massive talking point that we're not talking about yet? We'll talk about it when we return with more Talkin Cowboys right after this.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Cowboys fans, we've got big news. Black Rifle Energy is now available at Texas 7-Eleven stores. And for a limited time, you can score 2 cans for just $6 at participating locations. These cans pack a serious punch, 200 milligrams of caffeine, veteran-crafted flavor, and the clean energy you need to power through those long days. So the next time you roll into your neighborhood 7-Eleven here in Texas, grab that 2 for $6 Black Rifle Energy deal and fuel up the American way. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. What was that?
Josh mouthed. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm trying to get comfortable.
The new setup is interesting for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We're interested. Jump
We're
in the
trying
chat
something
and let
out.
us know how you feel about the new setup. We are trying something new. We're interested to hear what the fans have to say about it because obviously we do this for you guys and gals. So.
And whether you like it or you hate
let
it
us know.
or you don't like it or whatever.
All
I don't
feedback, you can direct it to Chris Beam.
At Derek Eagleton on Twitter.
Derek Eagleton.
Just right at it. Let's go straight to the top.
straight to
Honestly, like if you want to tag Jerry too, do that too. Just tag everybody. Like we'll see if it goes
Jerry's
gets anywhere.
Let Jerry focus. Let Jerry focus.
He's got a couple things on his
He's got
plate.
a few things. Focus.
True that.
Focus.
One of those things that was on his plate was hiring a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the Cowboys finally get to hear from him, or Cowboys fans, I should say, finally get to hear from him
We got
last week.
We got the announcement like literally after we talked on Talking Cowboys last week. We were saying like I can't wait till we hear from Christian Parker, and then not 20, 30
It was
minutes.
probably 20 minutes
Spoken into
After the episode ended, they were like, "Hey, by the way, tomorrow Christian Parker press conference."
Par for the course.
Yeah,
That is
That's how they do
what
us,
we're
man.
used to.
That's how they do us here in Talking Cowboys.
That's part of it. But we have
we're
had a
prime time because everything else follows.
Yeah, you know, they had to wait for us to get out of the way. The good thing about it is we've had kind of a week to chew on it and to like dissect what he said because there was a lot of information.
Yeah, buddy.
A lot of information that was spewed throughout that press conference because when it comes to Christian Parker specifically, he's exactly what we outlined last Tuesday. Extremely intelligent,
well learned,
very grounded and intense. Remember, I used the word intense.
Yeah,
that was an intense press conference.
As he quoted "The Art of War" by Sun Tzu.
It felt like every word had something just significant about it.
He's like a philosopher of defense, if you will.
And he commands a room, which
hyping him up so much.
You're getting into it. The way he commanded a room was really impressive, and I can see why the team is excited about what he's going to bring from a leadership standpoint and from a player relationship and communication standpoint, because he communicated to the media quite well what his intentions were with the team, and one of those might be running a 3-4.
No might about it. There is no might.
He said multiple.
He said
3-4
multiple
base,
and then he immediately definitively said that the base would be a 3-4 with some added sets. Say again, Josh. Interesting. Listen, man. First of all, my defensive coordinator is up there with the Cartiers on, and the lemon pepper stepper. So let's talk about it. But go out there and whoop that trick. But seriously, when it comes to Christian Parker, and I said this on Twitter, and I've said this in articles. Let's make sure that we express the excitement for the potential that we see in him, but also temper it with the expectation of reality. He's not called plays yet. He will have growing pains. And when those growing pains hit, let's just keep in mind that this is his first year going through that process. But it's also true that when you see players like Cooper DeJean, who now unprompted is bringing up Christian Parker and how he impacted the fact that he's a first-team All-Pro. And then Patrick Surtain, obviously, and then Quentin Mitchell. When you hear those players talk about Christian Parker and other coaches, and then you see the staff that he's built around him, and then you hear him speak, it all begins to come together. Speaking to the point of the 3-4, something that we talked about here on Talking Cowboys as the staff was being built, because while they were interviewing candidates for the position coaches, none of those were defensive ends coaches. They were outside linebackers coaches.
We tried to say that last week.
We tried.
Gave you the
writing was on the wall.
It was all there.
So now they have Uzo Deribe as outside linebackers coach. They have Scott Simons as inside linebackers coach. And those two got finalized before Christian Parker stepped to the podium and said, yeah, it's a 3-4 base. Now, you'll see some 4-man fronts. You'll see some 5-man fronts. But it's a 3-4 base. I think that's significant for a lot of reasons. And I'll drop it to the panel after I say this. But one of the biggest reasons it's so significant is because it marks the first time since the DeMarcus Ware era that the Cowboys have run 3-4. The Cowboys are traditionally 4-3. Hell, they were 4-3 during their Super Bowl dynasty years in the 90s. They experimented with 3-4 in the Bill Parcells era. Yes. They had wins. They had success. They didn't have the postseason success they needed, but then they abandoned it, went back to their comfort of their 4-3. Now here we are at 3-4, but this is also a 3-4 that features Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and, Osa hopefully getting back to prime Osa. Solomon Thomas hopefully taking another step now in his second year and a contract year at that for the Cowboys. So the defensive line interior is set to cook on a 3-4. You got to get those ends figured out in a big way because you have defensive ends that are free agents, but you don't technically need defensive ends. You need versatile outside linebackers is what you need.
Yep.
I totally agree. And I mean, if you look back, if you kind of look back in the Wayback Machine, Greg Ellis was once a defensive end that they converted to an outside linebacker who had his best seasons as an outside linebacker. To me, I hope that there's some flexibility with the players that you currently have because you have guys that are sort of in that tweener body stage, right? They could do both.
Easy.
Absolutely.
Easy will excel.
Even if you have a Jadeveon Clowney come back, if you re-sign him, that would be excellent for a 3-4 because he has that length, he has that body type that makes sense for it.
You need like 2 more of him though.
Okay.
Go get him. Go get him.
But that's the thing is and Isaiah spoke to this eloquently last week was if you're going to run the 3-4, you can use some of the current personnel that you have, but you're really going to have to overturn a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in an
but what better year to do that?
I wrote an article called Open Market on DallasCowboys.com yesterday. Make sure you check that out. It lists 4 to 5 or more. Go find out. Outside linebacker options.
I love that you're excited about that. And I love that it is the right year. If you're going to overhaul a defense, overhaul the worst defense you've had in franchise history. I completely understand. But from a realistic standpoint, can you overhaul an entire defense and still get better? It's hard to get worse, but still get better to the point where you need them to be middle of the road for this offense to be successful and to win football games next year.
Getting better than worst in the league?
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
Seems easy.
You can get better than worse in the league, absolutely. But you also have to be realistic in how you build this team. There are so many holes as is with the current roster you have. So not only are you going to fill those holes, but then you got to turn around and the new ones that are created by changing system, you're cool with just throwing resources and throwing people at that anyways?
Yes, I'd be more...
Because you have cornerstones. You've got guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would be more concerned if you didn't have Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and Osa and Solomon. I would, to my answer to the question, without those 4 guys would be, ooh, this is going to be tough in year one. But because you have those 4 guys, 4 anchors right there in the middle of your defensive line, now that allows you, and you also have, and I said it before, I'll say it again, I think Donovan Ezraku will thrive as an outside linebacker. I do believe so. It'll be interesting to see if Jadeveon Clowney is brought back. Stephen Jones said that they're deciding on if he's a fit in Christian Parker's scheme, which just goes to versatility. Can you run 3-4 and, when there's only 3 down man front? I think he can. He's long, he's lanky, he has twitch and bend. I think he can do it. Go get 2 more guys. But I do think when it comes to the outside linebackers, your edge rushers, I do think Christian Parker, in addition to having Ezraku, bring back Clowney, go get a couple more edge rushers, make a splash in free agency. There's, and this is, I'll preface this. These are guys on expiring contracts. effective March 11th through 13th. If these players re-sign new deals before then, they will not be free agents. But I'm going to say the names as expiring contracts. Bradley Chubb is one of those names. He's my top name, for example. You have guys like Bradley Chubb, outside linebackers, proven, coming off of strong years, still in their prime. You had a guy
with Christian Parker.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Add a guy like Chubb, retain a guy like Clowney. You got Ezraku. You got the anchors in the middle. Yeah. You can flip the switch from 4-3 to 3-4.
You could tell me right now you could run a 1-7. I don't care. As long as you've got Bradley Chubb and those guys, I feel confident.
Your one has to be Quinnen.
Yeah, Quinnen's the one. Everybody else is standing up. Like you could put it anywhere. As long as you got Chubb, you got Quinnen, you can talk me into anything. So I get it. I completely understand. I think that's where my one worry is with this, is because there's a lot of hopium right now in the front office being aggressive. And there's a lot of talk about the front office being aggressive. But Cowboys fans, we've fallen into this before, where we've looked at it and we're like, oh, this has to be the year they attack it. This has to be a time where they're going to create $30 million of cap space by restructuring all these deals, which they're going to do a certain level of that at some point in time. It may not be the 130 that's being floated out there on Twitter and social media, but it's going to be close to that.
Right.
So if it turns into that, then great, and they want to spend it, then great. But we've gotten to this point before where we've looked at the Cowboys front office and said, Can you do something? Can you
poking at it?
Yeah, you poking. Can we get aggressive here? And Javonte Williams, great start, awesome, love it. They've already created a little bit of cap room with cutting Logan Wilson, which we didn't mention earlier. They cut Logan Wilson, that creates $6 million in cap. So they're moving pieces around. They're moving around as they can be. I want Cowboys fans to temper expectations of let's overhaul the defense, and Bradley Chubb's going to be here, and this free agent's going to be here, and they're going to draft 2 All-Pros in the first round, and it's going to be incredible. It's going to take some time, and Christian Parker needs a little time as a first-year defensive play caller. That's where I want to just tap the brakes a little bit, because that's a lot of moving and changing and shifting for somebody that hasn't done it before.
What's one move that they could make, free agent notwithstanding, what's one move they could make that kind of tempers your worry there as far as switching overseas?
Oh, so like it would convince me that they would be aggressive?
Yeah.
You got to sign a blue chip DN. Oh, outside linebacker, edge rusher, whatever you want to do. Like whatever.
Like a proven guy.
A proven defensive end. If you go and sign one of those guys, great. The other one would probably be Pickens, if I'm being completely honest. They don't end up tagging Pickens, or they tag him and they get a deal done quickly before the draft. Let's say before the draft. Then I feel confident that there's going to be something there. But I think the first one's more likely than the second one.
I'm going to say it that way. First wave, week 1 of free agency, legal tampering, get in on some of these names. Bradley Chubb is one I think is also reasonable for the Cowboys as far as projected pay is concerned. But let's talk about unreasonable, okay? You want a whale? Jalen Phillips, projected $17 million. You want a bigger whale? Khalil Mack. You see what I mean? Now that's upwards of like $20 million. You would have to really work some things around with those numbers. Again, like you mentioned, like you alluded to, they can free up $131 million in salary cap space just by hitting restructure triggers, and they don't need players' permission to do so. But when you start talking about Jalen Phillips, who last year, who coached him, right? Christian Parker, okay? So some of these names, like a Joey Bosa, if that's your fancy, Odafe Owe, Kwity Paye, Joseph Asai, those I have in the VIP club because those are 17 to 21 million dollars. Yeah, those are the guys that aren't. When you look at their price tag, you're going to say, "Oh, that's the Cowboys are out on that," because they also do need to get Pickens under contract. They need to make these other moves. Although getting Pickens under contract, guess what it does? It comes off of that $28 million. Now you have more cap space. That's why it's so critical to get that deal done as quickly as possible so that you can make these types of spaces.
If we come back next week and they've signed,
they'll probably do it in like 37 minutes after we finish the show.
They're gonna
I'm cool with that, honestly.
Here in about 17 minutes.
Yeah. Anytime they want to do that, that'd be great.
Anytime they do that, I'm cool with it. But that would be a move that would prove to me they're going to be aggressive and something's going to happen. Speaking of the front office, let's take our second break.
If news broke that the Cowboys signed Khalil Mack, would you be on the side of the track that says, we are so back? Or would you still be on the side of the track that says, let's see?
Let's see.
Past his prime.
Yeah, his
obviously.
prime is in the back. He's still a good player.
Yeah.
I don't want to just go for names just for names.
That's fair.
They got to be a fit. If they're going to sign Khalil Mack and they're going to do something like that,
I think Jalen Phillips,
I think would be a fit, and it may not be as big of a name. But
I think it's definitely still a big name. I mean, Khalil Mack is a future Hall of Famer, so that's
it's different.
Air. Yeah. But Jalen Phillips still very much in his prime, coming from a Christian Parker, not Christian Parker led defense, but a defense that had Christian Parker as one of the leaders of it. Mm-hmm. Outside linebacker, still effective, coming off of one of his better seasons. Yeah.
Don't just go get names to get names. Go get fits.
I agree.
Go get guys that are going to fit the culture. That are going to maybe not fit the system, but you can build the system with.
Right.
Because that's what you're doing. You're building the system as it goes along, and that was part of what Christian Parker talked about. All right. When we come back, the front office did speak yesterday. Stephen Jones at the NFL Combine. Might hear from him again this week at some point. So we're going to talk about what he hit on. One of those is George Pickens. When we return with more Talking Cowboys right after this.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Cowboys fans, we've got big news. Black Rifle Energy is now available at Texas 7-Eleven stores. And for a limited time, you can score 2 cans for just $6 at participating locations. These cans pack a serious punch, 200 milligrams of caffeine, veteran-crafted flavor, and the clean energy you need to power through those long days. So the next time you roll into your neighborhood 7-Eleven here in Texas, grab that 2 for $6 Black Rifle Energy deal and fuel up the American way. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys with Patrik Walker and Josh Rodriguez. I'm Kyle Youmans. We're presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. In this segment, this segment is presented by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Which is also, I've always thought that's funny, and I think I've said it before, but when you have Invisalign, they tell you not to drink coffee with your Invisalign in because it like tints it and like makes it yellow-ish.
But like Black Rifle Coffee doesn't do that.
Nah, Black Rifle doesn't do that.
You don't want your Invisalign tinted? Just get some nice 5% on your Invisalign. Just nice 5%. You might
See, 5% visibility on your teeth.
Pull it over, but it's just a nice 5% tint on your Invisalign.
When I was doing Invisalign, I actually had the mindset of like, wait, okay, so if it's going to tint the Invisalign, why don't I just drink the coffee as normal so that way it doesn't actually hit my teeth?
Yeah.
Like, so that way it doesn't like make your teeth yellow or whatever like coffee is supposedly doing. But yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I'm quirky, man. Maybe I'm quirky. Maybe the rest of the world is quirky. I don't ever really understand why people, when they drink, they allow the fluid or whatever they're drinking to go through the teeth. Right? Because, I mean, if you think about it,
who's doing that?
There are people I've seen people
to go through the teeth.
I mean, it kind of touches your teeth
exactly
naturally.
But they're right. But they're
Are they drinking like this?
No, I'm not saying they're being weirdos. That's weird.
That's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying? There's a way for
Drinking like an
what you're
NPC?
drinking to not touch your fronts at all.
Wait.
Nah, okay. All right. All right. Back on topic.
Let's go to Stephen Jones yesterday at the NFL Combine. Spoke to some of the media members out there in Indianapolis. We'll be out there tomorrow. But Stephen, I mean, was very clear about what we've said the entire time, and the entire social and media landscape took it and said, "Oh, they expect to tag George Pickens." Well, yeah, they haven't done it yet, but they do. They've expected that for
and the
6
sun
months
came
now.
up this morning.
Yeah, sun's back up again. Anything that Steven said yesterday, Patrick? I know you've written on it already. What were some of the things that you took away?
I mean, obviously, he said the expected, like you said, Kyle. The Cowboys, if they feel they need more time, they're going to hit the franchise tag on George Pickens, but it's with the goal of buying more time.
Yeah.
What stood out to me in that conversation was what Stephen Jones said. He noted Dak Prescott. He noted DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, granted, those two guys were tagged more than once, but it's also true that they didn't play under the final time that they were tagged because the tags were rescinded. Dak Prescott's was rescinded fairly early in his second tag, I think 3 days later, and DeMarcus Lawrence's was rescinded in April, not long after. So that is to say that just because the Cowboys place a franchise tag on a player doesn't mean it's going to stick. It gives them until mid-July to get a full deal done before the NFL deadline passes. The concern there then becomes, well, that means you're carrying a $28 million fully guaranteed salary cap hit the entire summer unless you get that deal done. That goes to the second thing that stood out to me about what Stephen Jones said, which was, we can do everything we need to do, end quote, with the $28 million there. So for those fans that are out there saying, well, you know, if they extend George Pickens, they won't have money to do much. Well, that's a flawed argument because if they extend George Pickens, they have more money to do what they need to do versus the $28 million fully guaranteed. And for those that are saying, well, if we have to carry him on the franchise tag, if the Cowboys carry him on that tag, they won't be able to do anything. We've said it in the previous segments. $130+ million can be freed up by restructures alone that do not require players to approve. And then, of course, you're going to have attrition. Logan Wilson was released to free up $6.5 million. We don't know who the Cowboys might be considering doing that to as well to free up more money. Point being, point being that
you're right.
Money's not the issue when it comes to getting George Pickens locked in and getting these deals done, potentially in free agency, making these splashes and still having money because you have to have a certain amount earmarked for the draft as well.
Yeah.
Right. So Stephen Jones,
right around 13.
Yeah, I love what I'm hearing from Stephen Jones.
Maybe 14.
The only thing I didn't like it's true though, doesn't mean I like it just because it's true, right? It's true that a deal of this magnitude has so many machinations that it can take time. And Stephen Jones said these take time. These types of deals take time. That's true. I don't like it, but that's true.
You don't like those words?
I don't like those words, but it's true.
We don't have a table to hit.
We don't like those words, but it's true. So, Cowboys have until March 3rd to either sign a deal with George Pickens or to apply the franchise tag, one or the other. If the tag is applied, don't go panicking because they still have until mid-July to do something.
Question for you guys, though. Granted, it may take time to get George Pickens done. If it's one of those tumultuous signings yet again that we have to deal with, are you guys at all, and we're not this podcast, but we're going to be this podcast for 2 seconds because we got a new setup and everything.
Okay.
Do you trade George Pickens?
On the tag?
I'm asking you, Patrick. We're not done here, buddy.
Are you serious?
I'm having the conversation.
Hell to the no.
I don't like it.
Oh, no. I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it?
Why would I do it?
For nothing. I mean, for anything in the world.
Everything has a price. I want your soul. But what I'm saying is, for those that, because someone posted a question to me on Twitter yesterday, would you trade George Pickens for another first-round pick or something like that? Think about what you have in George Pickens and think about what you're looking to get.
Yeah.
With a draft pick. What you're looking to get with a draft pick is a George Pickens.
Yeah.
You already have George Pickens. What is George, 24, 25, something?
25.
25.
Going into 25.
Yeah, going into 25. This is a newly minted 25-year-old coming off of the best 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, right? narrative of the locker room completely debunked.
Yeah.
Okay. He has the chemistry, he has the talent, and the upside hasn't even been completely achieved yet. And he's in his mid.
But he takes off plays, Patrick.
I don't want to hear that crap, man.
Most receiving yards in the NFL.
For people who don't even check their outlook like they're supposed to, you're taking off plays in the office.
Most receiving yards in the NFL since 2022. This is when Pickens was drafted. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, George Pickens. So he's eighth on the list in the last 4 seasons.
And he's not even hit his ceiling yet.
And that's with one 1,000-yard receiving year.
He's now with a highly effective all-pro quarterback.
Yep.
And a complementary piece that's a multi-time all-pro.
Yeah.
And he has a running back that's now secured on 3 years that has Pro Bowl potential.
Sure.
What you don't do is remove George Pickens from that and hope a draft pick can fix it. Otherwise, now you're back in and no shade to the guy, but the truth is the truth. Now you're back in the whole Jalen Tolbert conversation. For so long, fans were like, well, we need a complimentary piece to CeeDee Lamb. Why are they shoving Tolbert down our throat?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got the definitive piece. You got 2 wide receiver ones now. You want to ship one out for a draft prospect, albeit a first rounder, that you have no clue if they're going to pan out.
The way that George Pickens has?
The way that right now.
Not to mention the compliment he is the CD
right
too.
now.
Right this second.
The compliment he is the CD, the way that he fits with Dak, the way he fits the system that Brian Schottenheimer calls. I mean, I don't think it's a possibility. I know there's been chatter about it among league circles.
You almost have to have the conversation because it's a possibility.
I don't remember.
And we have PTSD from Micah Parsons.
Yeah, everybody's scared about what happened with Micah, and that was kind of its own bubble situation. The conversation in league circles is that Pickens wouldn't get more than a second.
No,
that's what it is. That's what the circles are.
You can't even get me on one first, let alone a second.
Exactly. So that automatically takes me out of the conversation. But the league circles are saying a second round pick is what it would be, because if from a 30 other teams, 31 if you include the Steelers, I'm saying 30 teams that would want to attain George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
They still look at it as 3 years of solid production and semi off the field problems in Pittsburgh. 1 year of unbelievable production and incredible teammate in the building, but with some like small fines and things like that in terms of like being late to meetings and whatever.
All of that. 24. Okay.
Exactly. So all of it is minor off the field stuff, but they saw it as he was under pressure in a contract year, so he had to rein it in. He had to bet on himself, and he had to stick it out, and that's why he had 1,400 yards in the season he did, which is what the league looks at it like. Whether that's accurate or not, that's what the league
fair
looks
to the
at
player.
I'm, as a Cowboys reporter and as somebody that is interested in what he does for this organization, I think he does more for this organization than a second-round pick ever could.
Yeah.
So even with all that to be said, it's a possibility, because if things break down and it is Micah Parsons 2.0, which honestly, even if it is that, it would have to be worse than that, because it would have to happen before the draft.
Correct.
It wouldn't go into training camp like it did last year. It wouldn't go into a holdout like it did. It would have to be so bad and break down so significantly in order to trade him, because they would need to trade him before April 24th. And that's not going to happen in my eyes. So I as much as the trade conversation is there, it's a big time fat no.
It's a moot point.
And for the league representatives that might be looking at it from the capacity that, in which you just stated, oh, well, he showed up and showed out in Dallas because of contract year and he had to. I would counter that with, well, who was throwing him the ball in Pittsburgh?
Mason Rudolph
and Justin Fields. Which one of those quarterbacks is going to help you get 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns in the season? The answer is neither.
I think Justin is going to be okay this year. I think he'll be
okay. Neither of those were going to help you get 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, and a Pro Bowl nod. None of them. Okay. So instead of looking at it as, well, it was a contract year, that's why he did it, look at it as, in his contract year, it just so happened to be a contract year in which he finally got the right quarterback, in which he finally got a complimentary piece at wide receiver, in which he finally got a definitive running game. Shouts out to Najee Harris. They had a solid running game in Pittsburgh, so I'll give him that. But complimentary piece was not there for him in Pittsburgh. Quarterback was not there for him in Pittsburgh. And I would even argue that the offensive coordinator was not there for him in Pittsburgh.
I think that's more than fair.
Right. So he got those three critical pieces to help him ascend to the next level of what George Pickens can be. And all of that happened to happen in a contract year. That's how it needs to be looked at.
And I think those in the building understand that.
Yeah.
And the NFL might just say he was putting on his best behavior because he was in a contract year, and he didn't want to be.
The production's there.
No, yeah, he didn't want to be negatively impacted by two organizations in the NFL that have long storied success in history.
That's a low IQ.
The production is there.
That's a lazy take. That's a lazy take.
You have to gloss right over that.
Completely agree. All right, that does it for us here on Talking Cowboys. I know we got to get out of here. And then by next week, we'll have already signed George Pickens. They're gonna move the draft up between now and then. They're gonna end up drafting somebody next week. It'll be incredible.
We're gonna be
we're gonna have
building.
It's gonna feel like training camp all of a sudden.
We have to go off to the combine first thing in the morning.
Yes, we're
safe travels, guys.
Thanks, guys. You're coming with us. You're coming.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And the carry on.
I'll stay in Patrick's room.
Why wouldn't you stay in my room?
I'm already used to it.
Yeah, we're used to it. Training camp room, Air 5.
I take offense to that. Yeah, Patrick and I will be out at the combine. Tommy Yarish, Nicole Hutcherson is also out at the combine. They're out there right now, so we're going to join forces with them tomorrow. Be sure to follow all our coverage on DallasCowboys.com.
Do it.
At Voice of the Star, at Kyle_Youmans. Excited about the combine. It's one of our favorite trips of the entire year, and we're going to have a lot of info for you coming back next week. For Patrick No-C Walker, for Josh Rodriguez, for Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talking Cowboys. We'll see you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?